So you mentioned that you were against going after Dougie Hamilton in free agency because you thought it would be a lot of money for a guy that had a great year, even though he was coming off the injury the year before. Is it something, just a philosophy kind of thing? Are you against giving any defenseman that much money in the Rangers' current state? Because Seth Jones has been in trade talks, Oliver Ekman-Larsson is another guy that's been in trade talks. So would you rather go for quantity or maybe youth or for free agency's sake, or do you trust what they have right now?
Jacob Trouba makes $8 million. Adam Fox is going to make almost $9 million on his
Told
next
you,
deal.
Speedy.
So you're not going to add another $8 or $9 million defenseman. It's just not happening. It's just not feasible. Trouba, right? I think Trouba is an excellent defenseman. I think Fox should become the top pair defenseman. It makes too much sense. I think Trouba in a role as a second pair defenseman will be better. Also, he played with a rookie. Like we got to kind of balance it out. His job responsibility was to, help a rookie along. I don't know what the Rangers are going to do, but they're talking about bringing in another left defenseman. Carson Soucy is somebody that they're talking about. Now, maybe there's a deal with the Seattle Kraken. I don't know, because Seattle is going to have to make trades. Seattle has like 14 defensemen. They all aren't going to play there. Mark Giordano isn't going anywhere, regardless of that rumor or whatever came out or the speculation. He's not going anywhere. Because he literally showed up and was like, hi. he's in a Seattle shirt and he's like, happy to be here. I seriously doubt Ron Francis is trading him, to the Rangers anytime soon. I think he's probably going to be the captain, as a lot of people speculate. So they have Carson Soucy. I think they also have Vince Dunn, but Vince Dunn probably would cost too much. I don't know. Would the Rangers consider bringing in a Vince Dunn? Maybe not a bad idea, but here's the problem. Vince Dunn is more of what they have. Finesse type of player. Carson Soucy is a banger and a crasher at 6'7". He's a monster. I think he's a huge defenseman. That's what they need. They need a player like that. They're waiting and hoping Braden Schneider can actually take a next step and get into this lineup, because that's the exact type of defenseman they need. A shutdown, in your face, mean slap shot type of defenseman. So we'll see where that goes. Again, that's the type of player they need. They're not going to bring in a Dougie Hamilton. I know they kicked the tires on Seth Jones. I think that's just due diligence, because the Flyers wanted him. So they kind of like, well, what are the Flyers going to have to give up? You want to know what your competition is doing. So, hey, what do you want for him? That's it. I don't think they were ever bringing in Seth Jones anyway.
Really quick off the Rangers, I'm trying to figure out what Carolina was thinking in making that trade today with Detroit. I mean, that just did not make any – I mean, it's almost like – I mean, Anthony, you know this, and Arrow and you, Speedy, you guys know this too. If you talk to Steve Yzerman about a trade, you're 99 times out of 10, you're gonna one that's gonna be losing the trade. Carolina desperately, really badly lost that trade. I don't even understand why they did what they did. What were your thoughts on it? And then back to the Rangers with Ryan Strome. So if you said it, I saw your stuff on Forever Blue Shirts. If Strome is traded, you said they have pretty much, it's a foregone conclusion that you think Eichel or somebody is there, and somebody's there then. So how much longer will that be?
Yeah. So when it comes to Steve Yzerman, I mean, he's obviously a very good GM. I don't know. Again, I think he was interviewed today about the trade. And the guy, he was like, "What?"
I saw the quote.
What were they doing? Like, and Steve Yzerman kind of shook his head, and he was like, "You're gonna have to ask them what they were thinking."
Yeah, that's literally what he said. I think he said about the Carolina Gibbet. Said, "I don't know. I think you're gonna have to ask him."
Hey, maybe, first off, from my understanding, they offered him like $1.5 million, and he wanted I think $3 million. And Detroit was happy enough to give it to him. I mean, I think the ask was 3.5. I don't know what Carolina's thinking there. I really don't. Carolina has had a goaltending issue for a while. Maybe they see something in Nedeljkovic that maybe nobody else did. Maybe they have a plan for another goaltender. I don't know. Who knows who's out there they could be thinking of. Maybe they're going to go try and trade for Darcy Kemper. I don't know. I have no idea at this point. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Getting back to the Rangers, again, the Rangers options actually dwindled quite quickly, because at one point they thought there would be a lot more centers available. There was a lot of talk that at one point that Malkin might actually be moved. So they thought that maybe there's a chance that Malkin could be out there if they, as a like a B or C option. So they weren't just hung up on Eichel. They knew Kuznetsov was probably going to be shopped. They thought that maybe Dylan Larkin would be shopped because it looked like Detroit was going to do a full rebuild, but they're keeping Dylan Larkin. Sean Monahan came out of the fact that Calgary wanted to do all these changes. I don't know what Calgary's doing right now, to be honest with you. They just freed up a lot of money off the books by losing Mark Giordano. So who knows? Maybe they don't need to move out a Sean Monahan, and they could re-sign, Johnny Gaudreau and try and improve the team from there. So I don't know, but I think the Rangers are going to be in it to the end with Eichel. I don't know if they'll get him. Maybe Minnesota is going to lose Kirill Kaprizov to the KHL, and they're going to just take that money and give it to Eichel.
That would be massive if they lost him.
Well, but you know what? You got to when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? Errol looks like he makes lemonade all the time.
You're damn right I do.
That's right. So the bottom line is that I think the Rangers are probably going to try and get a center. I don't think if they trade Strome, they have something lined up.
You don't think there's any shot they're going to keep Strome? Like, you don't think there's a shot?
First of all, I don't think they need a Jack Eichel. They need a guy that is gritty, can win faceoffs, that could score goals. He doesn't need to be a 30, 40 goal scorer, a guy like a Jack Eichel. They need a guy like a Pajot, like the Islanders made a trade for a first and a second. That's the type of player they need. They don't need a Jack Eichel, a superstar player that you're going to overpay $10.5 million and might not even be healthy.
They got that. They did that when they got Barclay Goodrow. He can play center.
Mm-hmm.
They did that.
So what is the point of bringing in Jack Eichel? What is the point? You say he's a game changer. He could also be he could also be a brain changer too. Okay.
Listen, I can't argue any of the points you're making. I'm taking my best assumptions and saying, okay, from what I can understand, if he's healthy, that's it.
But you don't know for a fact if he's going to be healthy.
I don't. But that's why you need to see the medical records. And if the Rangers make the deal, I'm going to assume that they have enough information to feel confident that even if he doesn't start the season, he will be healthy.
You are talking about, Anthony, you are talking about Chris Drury, okay? And I'm not a big fan of him. And I know Chris. I actually played hockey with Chris Drury. We're practically the same age. And he was a decent hockey player. He to me, as a GM, he's never been a full-end GM ever. And he had an opportunity to take the Florida Panthers job. He had an opportunity to take another job. But he took the Ranger job. He took the Ranger job. The reason why he wanted to take the Ranger job is because he wanted to be here. He wanted to be in the Big Apple. He wanted to help the Rangers win a Stanley Cup that they haven't won since 1994. I thought he was the wrong guy. They should have never fired John Davidson. I think that was a huge mistake by the New York Rangers. And I think it's going to come up and it's going to crawl him and it's going to smack him in you know what. Because I don't think Chris Drury was the guy. I really don't. And for anybody to think, and I think Goodrow, that was a good move for him. I think Goodrow was a good move. But if you decide to bring in a Jack Eichel and you're going to pay him $10.5 million when he's going to make $80-something million in the next, 5-6 years, and he doesn't stay healthy, that sets your team back another 4 years. This is a team that's very talented. They have extremely offensively, they're extremely talented. Defensively, yes, they have Fox, and Fox won the Norris Trophy. He was the best offensive defenseman in the league this year. But they have a lot of weaknesses on the defensive side. And in the beginning of the season, they were one of the top 10 defenses in the league. And they kind of fell off after that. They weren't playing good defense. I think that was why Quinn lost his job. And by the way, they have no toughness whatsoever. They are the least toughest team in that Eastern Conference division. So they need to find toughness. They don't need a finesse Jack Eichel, who's, honestly, he's got a stick stuck up his ass. He doesn't want to play in Buffalo, so he's trying to pour himself out of there after he got a big contract from the Buffalo Sabres. So you don't need a peewee like him. You need a guy that's tough.
Speedy, Josh, is he listening to me at all? I've been on the show for 40 minutes. I literally just said that they got Barclay Goodrow.
Mm-hmm.
They have.
I just said it was a good move.
They have Morgan Barron, who
Mm-hmm.
played that type of style,
Mm-hmm.
who came in late in the season.
Mm-hmm.
They have Kevin Rooney, who did an admirable job, and I think he'll be fine. I just told you that they're still sniffing around, looking at Jordan Martinook, probably to bring him in. There's other type of players like that. I told you that on defense. They're looking at a guy like Carson Soucy. They might even consider Ryan Suter, but I don't think Ryan Suter wants to play in the Big Apple. I think he's more of a small town guy and more comfortable in those environments. So I think he's more likely to go to the Islanders anyway.
Oh, they're not the Big Apple. Give me a break, Anthony.
No.
Come on, man.
Don't take that offensively, because it's not meant to be. They're different environments. You go into the Garden, you go play at the Garden. It's a madhouse around you. Like you go to the Coliseum, man. It's a driving in. You go into the giant parking lot. It's a different thing. And the new
He's
arena.
basically saying it's a different vibe.
The new arena, it's a little bit of a different vibe. It's a little different scene. You know, I know that the players, for the most part, live in Westchester County anyway.
Yes.
So, so like lifestyle wise, living wise is not a big deal, but he seems to be more of a small town type of guy. That's not a knock at all. There are plenty of those type of cities in the NHL. You only have a handful of Montreal Mayhem, Toronto Madness, I don't even know if I can qualify Boston as that mad of a city, but okay, let's give it to Boston. You don't really have a lot of those type of, big scrutiny cities out there. And the Islanders, to your benefit, you don't have that kind of level of scrutiny. You don't get splashed all over the newspapers or get talked about 24/7, even negatively.
If you read the newspapers here in New York, I do. And when this season was going, as the season progressed, obviously the Islanders were the talk of the town, not the Rangers.
They weren't.
The Islanders were in the
How do you argue that?
And the Islanders got a lot of scrutiny this year, especially not with Lou Lamariello, what Lou Lamariello did, because he won the GM of the year back-to-back years. There was a lot of scrutiny.
What a joke.
What do you mean, a joke? I mean,
I'll give you a break. Lamariello won.
He didn't deserve it?
Oh, my God. For what?
He made
team in cap hell?
He put his team. How did he? First of all, he didn't put his team in cap hell. It was Gart Snow that put his team in cap hell. Okay,
Bill Zito deserved to win it this time. Bill Zito should have won it in Florida.
Oh,
he did a really good
get
job.
out of here. That trade for Palmieri absolutely solidified why they beat the Boston Bruins. If they didn't make that trade with Palmieri, they weren't winning that series against the Bruins. Okay.
You want me to be honest with you? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have beaten the Bruins because Tuukka Rask got hurt and didn't play well.
So that's what it was. Oh, another Rangers take.
Oh, Jeff is a new fan.
Another Ranger take.
Was Tristan Jarry stopping any pucks lately? I don't know. He couldn't stop anything. It was you threw
so that's the excuses. It's something what Ranger fans always do, make excuses. Oh, the reason why the Islanders went to the Eastern Conference Final last year because it was a COVID year and they missed a month of hockey. Give me a break.
Excuses.
That's not it. But you want to know something? I don't make excuses.
When you'll make an excuse.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I don't make excuses. I watch what I see. And what I saw, yes, Jari's not a good goalie. Hey, that doesn't matter. The Pittsburgh Penguins they were the first seed in the Eastern Conference. They were the number one seed. And you know what? If I had Josh actually just talking about this going back and forth, this would be a boring conversation because Josh is boring. Okay,
I love the fact that
all he does is giggle. All he does is giggle.
So I'm going to defend
all he does is giggle.
Did you notice, Anthony? Did you notice when he gets insulted by something?
I'm not insulted anyway. I watch you. I watch you giggle, and you're boring because I could sit there and compliment.
I'm nuts. That's why you attack against.
I'm reading the comments too. I'm reading the comments too. You know what I think about the comments?
Why are you attacking my character when I haven't even said a word?
Because you're talking about numbnuts. You got the numbnuts.
Okay.
Anyways.
See, this is what I mean. When I talk to people, you see what I mean? He attacks other people's
I love it, Anthony. I love it, Anthony.
And I need a connection.
I love it, Anthony. I love it. But anyways,
I need a connection to Chris Drury. Our role might be it.
And by the way, just so you know, there are certain players on the Rangers that I do like. I do like Fox. I do like. I told you I like Zibanejad. I like some of the gritty players that the Rangers have.